your screen. And we are live and on air. 3, 2, 1. And the room is now opening. And I am pleased to welcome you folks in to the very first of the Go Fit Gals of PJ and Reese's webinars, especially designed for women of a certain age, if you know what I mean. I'm Steve Dotto, and I'm helping Peace and Reese and PJ with this their first webinar. So I'm gonna fill you in a little bit on what's happening, folks, and then I'll throw over to Reese and PJ in just a few seconds. So we're using a technology here called the Google Hangout on Air, which is the webinar format that you're viewing this in. If you have any issues at all with what's happening, let me know in the chat room. If you look on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a chat room there, and I will be monitoring the entire webinar from the chat room. If you have any technical problems, I'll be there to help you, and PJ will be there also to answer questions. So why don't you take advantage of the fact that we have that chat bar to the side and let us know where you're visiting from. I am in Ladner, and Reese and PJ, which is near Vancouver, British Columbia. Reese and PJ are not too far from me. They're just down the street in Tawasin, which I can't spell if I had to. But they're also very, very close to Vancouver. So let us know where you're visiting from, so that we can know, because we want to know where you're all coming in from. So we're going to be about a half an hour or so, 45 minutes for the webinar tonight. We're going to be going through, obviously, nutrition for menopausal women is going to be the main topic. And as I said, I will be there in the room kind of guiding you along as we go. Now, while I think about it, I should introduce the stars of this evening's event, which is Reese and PJ. So I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves and a little bit what they're hoping to do with this series of webinars. So, ladies, have at it.
Hey guys. Hi, guys. All right, so as Steve so eloquently put, I'm PG's and she's Reese's. And we're here tonight to chat with you a little bit about menopause and nutrition. And it's turned into a passion with us, and we want to get the word out there on how we can make your midlife your best life. Now, for those of you, I see a lot of names popping up that I know, so woo! Shout out to all my classes there. But those of you that don't know me, I've been a personal trainer. Next year will be officially longer. I've been a trainer longer than I haven't been a trainer.
That's awesome.
That's old. Anyways, I've been doing this for a long time, and the bulk of my career has been working with women mid-40s to 60s and helping them, as I said, make their midlife be their best life.
And I am Reese. I'm the nutrition half of the Go Fit Gals team. I'll be doing most of the talking tonight. So
and she has kale stuck in between her teeth. That's how nutritious she is.
Not a bad thing, right? I did that on purpose. I was sticking it in. I have been into nutrition for a while. I love food. I love talking about it. I love consuming it. I love making it. I love food, which is why as a teenager I became overweight and went to every diet I could possibly think of. But to be honest, they were way too restrictive for me. I like to eat food, and they didn't let me. So I decided to find ways to be able to eat more and still lose weight, and that's what got me into healthy eating. And I decided to become a holistic nutritionist. I thought, you know, I knew it all anyways with health, so I got into nutrition and realized
she's very modest too.
No, that's what I thought. And then I realized I knew nothing, and that really humbled me into knowing that there's always room to learn when it comes to things like this. So I got into that about 10 years ago, almost now, that I got into, that I started school, to become a holistic nutritionist, had children, and that really got me into the eating clean side of things. So that's when it started for me, and then lucky for us, we got together. We're both super passionate about what we do, and I was actually training with PJ one day. I had a food blog at the time, and PJ said, wait a second, if you do nutrition and I do fitness, why the heck aren't we putting this together online and doing something so we can help as many women as possible? And that was kind of the birth of Go Fit Gals. So
here we are, 2 years later, really tired, but happy we did it.
But we love what we do. So,
well,
were you going to say something else, PJ?
Nope, you were going to go, I think.
I'm going to jump in because look where we got everybody coming in from. We've got Clarice from Surrey and Peggy from Tawasin, Marianne from Tawasin. As you figured, a lot of your home girls are here, but we also have Kim from St. Louis and Debbie from Calgary. We've got Kelly all the way from Toronto, from Grand Junction, Colorado is Claire. A big welcome and a big shout out to Claire. And we got Kathleen from Southern California. So we got a lot clustered here in the lower mainland area of British Columbia, but then we've got people from, it looks like, all over North America joining us. So that is awesome for this first of a series of these webinars that the girls are going to be. Am I allowed to call you girls, or is that condescending?
We're gals, actually.
Gals? You know what? And I just realized something. I am in the distinct minority on this webinar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
You realize that?
I'm not actually going to listen to any words that are said. I'm just going to deal with the technical issues. So, folks that are in the chat, here's what's going to happen. In a few seconds now, I'm going to toss it back, and Reese is going to go through the main content for this evening. If life gets in the way, if something happens and you have to rush away, don't worry. You're going to be sent a webinar replay, and so you'll be able to view this at your leisure afterwards. So you will get all of the information sent to you after the webinar if you have technical issues or anything like that. If you are having technical issues and the audio and video are lagging or not quite in sync, a couple things you can do. First is, if you're using Internet Explorer, please don't. Try using Chrome, Firefox, or Safari if you're on a Mac. All of those browsers play much better with the Google Hangout that we're having here. If you still have problems and you're in one of those platforms, you can always just go back to the registration link and re-log back in. 90% of the time that solves any technical issues that we have right there. So that is it for me. I'm going to be in the chat room with you. Please, as we're going along, any questions you have, start to flow them in. Engage in the chat. PJ is going to be monitoring the chat. She'll answer a lot of questions right out of the get-go, but at the very end, any questions that weren't answered in the chat or aren't answered in the content, we'll make sure we pose to Reese so that she can answer them, so that we can make sure that all of your questions are answered today. So with that, I am going to mute my mic, turn off my camera, jump into the chat room, and throw things over to Reese.
Hey,
All right. Well, Reese is actually going to get our PowerPoint presentation set up so that you guys can take a look at what, some other pictures other than us. Oh, wait, but there we are. Anyways, thank you again for coming to the workshop. Now, as women, we've got a lot to deal with. Teenagers, we start menstruation, childbearing, which I opted out. And then there's menopause, a time of hot flashes perhaps, mood swings, bloating, headaches, insomnia, brain fog, night sweats, weight gain. Have I missed anything? Yeah, we recognize that while this may not happen to every woman, and it's really not all that bad either, there are a lot of positives that come with getting older, including wisdom. But physically, things do change, and that's why we've put together the Hot Flash Hottie and the Hot Flash Tribe and this webinar series to help give you the tools on how you can manage these changes through fitness and nutrition. So today, Reese is going to talk about you and give you nutritional ways to manage the top 5 menopausal concerns that women ask us most about. So here we go. The floor is to my buddy Reese.
All right, guys, well, let's talk about what the heck is happening to your body once you hit peri and menopause. So changes in our bodies, they're going to begin anywhere between the ages of 30 to 50 years old. Now, most of these changes are going to happen around 45 years old, but of course, it's going to be different for everybody. At 30 years old, that's when we hit our peak bone mass. This is really the best time of our life, but after that, it all goes downhill and we have this slow decline of our bone mass. Around 40 to 45 years old, that's when perimenopause begins and the production of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone begins to decrease. Now, for some women, this can actually happen as early as 30 years old. So it's worth about that age starting to watch for. If you know anybody in their 30s, I would suggest starting to give them a little nudge, tell them it's coming their way.
Yeah, heads up, everyone.
Yeah, that's right. Around 45 to 55 years old, that's when menopause begins. This is the time when the menstruating stops altogether, and a lot of the symptoms of menopause, the hot flashes and all that, they usually go away. But it's also the time that we become vulnerable to some pretty serious health problems. I'm talking about things like cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis. After that, menopause is then reached. This typically happens about 12 months after menstruation stops. So as we age, naturally our cells are going to age as well, and they just don't function as well as they age. Eventually, old cells have to die. It's just a part of normal body functions. In particular, the number of cells in the ovaries and the liver and the kidneys, they decrease the most as the body ages. And when the number of cells becomes too low, of course, naturally, an organ isn't going to be able to function as well. So that's why as we age, we find our organs function less well. But surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly enough, not all of our organs lose a large number of cells. The brain would be a prime example. Studies have actually shown, which is super cool, I think, that healthy older people don't lose as many brain cells. I'm going to repeat that. Healthy older people don't lose as many brain cells.
So that means my husband's not very healthy. Sorry.
Oh no, the brain cells, the brain cells. That's funny. And of course, we all know that we get that dreaded weight gain. So the body fat increases and the distribution of the body fat shifts. So if you look at the picture in the PowerPoint right now, you're going to see the orange fat. That's the subcutaneous fat. That's the fat that we have before peri and menopause. So the subcutaneous is just under the skin. But the yellow that you see in the picture, that's called visceral fat. So we go from a shift of subcutaneous, just under the skin, to visceral fat. The visceral fat is deep within the body. It surrounds your internal organs, as you can see there in the picture. But it also increases your chances of developing heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, sleep apnea.
Yeah, you know if you see and you see visceral fat on this type of fat on men quite a bit actually, because their bellies will be quite hard, but yet they've got a large belly, and that's because they've got that visceral fat, and that is the dangerous fat to have.
Yes, that is the dangerous one. It's also one that can cause like cancer and degenerative diseases. So you've got to think about the effects of the visceral fat, which is why it's really important that we're aware of our bodies and working towards a healthier lifestyle at this stage. So estrogen, of course, decreases. We all know that. But it decreases until the ovaries actually just stop making it. When estrogen declines, our cortisol and insulin production increases. And both of those contribute to fat gain, especially the visceral kind around the midsection. So your body changes, of course, but that means your habits also have to change. Once you hit perimenopause, that's when your body begins the changes, and it's not going to respond as well to your old ways. The things you were doing in your 20s, 30s, 40s, they're not going to work for your body as your body changes, because you need to keep up both nutritionally and physically with the greater demands of aging. And so your body needs you to make some changes. You know what they say, if you want something to change, then you have to change something. I think they wrote it about this.
Yeah.
With menopause comes weight gain, as we talked about. But I don't know if you know this, the average person will actually gain 2 to 10 pounds in as little as the first 2 years of peri or menopause. So that can be upwards of 10 pounds in the first 2 years. Please keep in mind, there's no guilt involved in this. Often the weight gain is not because we've all of a sudden decided to start over-consuming foods. It does have to do with shifts in the body. So here are some of the causes. Hormonal changes, of course, like estrogen. When our estrogen decreases, that's about the only thing that they've actually been able to directly tie to weight gain and menopause. So that contributes to that visceral fat. That's what they know for sure. Slowing down in life is also a cause. The fact is, as we age, we slow down a bit, and becoming less active can contribute to the weight gain. And naturally, our metabolisms slow down. Now, this can be due to genetics, it can be due to aging, but it's also attributed to lower lean muscle mass, which of course comes from being less active. So
not my group, though. I just want to shout out to my classes that are here.
That's right. Shout it out. Thanks for piping in.
Sorry. Just very hard to be mute over here.
I know, she's not usually so quiet.
Yeah.
So naturally, menopause weight gain is going to happen, but the scary part is that it comes on really quickly. So you want to try and catch it before, if possible, which is why no matter what stage you're in, now is the time to start to make the changes. The weight or being overweight, any extra fat, especially that visceral that we talked about, it can be the cause of many diseases. And of course, as we age, our odds of developing a sort of degenerative disease increases significantly. So your body is changing. You can't expect to do the same thing you were doing before and have your body remain the same. It's important that we make changes, we adapt, and we support the changes in our body so that we can fight menopause weight gain or even see weight loss or just maintain whichever stage you're at. It'll apply to all of them. Now let's talk about estrogen. Oddly enough, I really like talking about estrogen. Is that weird?
Do you like saying the word estrogen? It's kind of a nice fancy word.
I feel really scientific.
That's because you hang out with twins and a 3-year-old all day.
That's right.
You can say more than SpongeBob.
My IQ down. So let's talk about estrogen. Okay, so in our reproductive years, of course, it's going to help with things like our breast development, pregnancy, fetal organ development, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to everything else in our body, it's actually quite fascinating, all the intricate parts that estrogen is a part of. So it helps to regulate the uptake of fats. This means that less estrogen equals more fat in the midsection, okay? And of course, as menopause hits, we have a decrease in estrogen. It helps to regulate insulin and helps prevent the development of insulin resistance. So less estrogen, my apologies, equals your insulin will be less responsive to removing excess sugar. So if your body's not removing excess sugar, sugar gets stored in the body. What is sugar stored as?
Fat. Oh,
exactly. Thank you.
You're
waiting for something.
You're waiting for an answer. They're muted. Just FYI. Steve's muted. We really need to take advantage of that. That never happens.
I'm waiting for him to pipe in.
He will. He'll pipe in on the chat line. I know it.
Oh, that's awesome. Estrogen also helps with our energy expenditure during physical activity. So less estrogen equals, well, you're going to move less, but when you do move, you're actually going to burn less calories as your estrogen decreases. Estrogen also helps to regulate how much you eat. So less estrogen equals you're going to consume more food. Now this is the part that everybody's like, whoa, wait a second, pause, tell me more. I want to know why it makes me eat more. So because you asked, we're going to dig into that a little more here. So diminishing estrogen levels cause a change in important fat-regulating hormones. These are called ghrelin, leptin, insulin, and adiponectin. Did you catch that? You write that down? No?
Adiponectin.
Adiponectin. Isn't it kind of weird to say?
I don't think I'll say it that often. I don't say it that often.
I had to practice. I'm just kidding.
In front of a mirror.
Adiponectin. No? Okay, so why am I even telling you these 4 names? Well, they all have such a big impact, and I'm going to break that down. So ghrelin comes from your stomach, and it affects your appetite because it increases your hunger signals. At the same time, it slows down your fat-burning ability and your metabolism. Boo earns, right?
Boo to ghrelin. Boo.
Leptin is produced by fat cells while you sleep. This is the best kind. Anything that'll do the work while I sleep, I'm like, I'm there.
Do you sleep? Yeah, no,
That's
she
another
doesn't.
Discussion.
Neither do I. Mine's due to perimenopause. Hers is due to 3 kids.
That's right. So my leptin doesn't get to work that often. But what leptin does is it binds to receptors in your brain that tell your brain when you're full. Yay! It also helps to suppress your appetite and increase your ability to burn calories. So really, it's the counter opposite to ghrelin. Adiponectin, it's involved in fat metabolism, and insulin sensitivity is affected by both leptin and adiponectin. So how on earth does all this come together with menopause? Well, I will bring this back together for you. Research shows that in menopause, ghrelin and adiponectin increase, okay, so that means your hunger signals increase and fat metabolism doesn't, and leptin decreases. That's the one that tells you when you are full. So this is the biggest predictor of weight gain in menopause. Really, it's that ghrelin increases and leptin decreases. Now, if you're already overweight and you're living a processed food lifestyle, studies have shown that you can actually become leptin resistant. So what this means is that you're going to get hungrier faster than other people or than the average person who is not leptin resistant. So how do we use nutrition then to manage menopause? Well, we're going to talk about the 5 concerns that we get asked about the most by people. This is the most common concerns, I guess you would say, when it comes to menopause. Doesn't mean there aren't others. It just means these are the biggest ones that we're asked about. Keep in mind, not every one of these will necessarily be your problem during peri or menopause. However, one of them is guaranteed to. So hang in there as we go through these. So let's talk about the number 1 concern, which is typically weight gain. Proper nutrition can help to rebalance the hormones that are responsible for weight gain. We did talk about the hormone, estrogen, that affects that. But it can also help to decrease or eliminate many symptoms while building up your body to prevent disease. Isn't nutrition awesome? You should have gotten into nutrition, PJ.
No, because then we'd be competing against each other instead of partnering.
Yeah, she'd squash me.
She's like a little bug. I'm just a tad
competitive, driven. I don't know. You choose the word. Steve, do you have any words? No, I'm kidding.
You can't. I love it.
He's going to get back at us for poking fun at him so much. Okay, so consuming nutrient-dense foods. This is really important because it provides you a balance of your vitamins and minerals. So all of your body's functions then are going to run smoothly and your energy is going to be abundant. And I know for a lot of women, energy at this stage is difficult to come by, especially if you struggle with sleep. And proper nutrition, eating nutrient-dense foods will definitely increase your energy. But what are nutrient-dense foods? Did somebody ask that? Somebody must have been. No, I'm kidding.
Somebody did. If they're not, they will in the chat line. Remember, you have the chat line here to ask questions.
That's right. I'm used to talking and seeing people's faces. That's where I get the energy from. I'm not seeing anybody's faces, so you got to chat. That's all I've got. Work with me here. So nutrient-dense foods. These are foods that have the best nutrient to calorie ratio. I like to say the most nutritional bang for your buck. So you want more nutrition and less calories, or more nutrients, less calories. And you need all nutrients. That's just plain and simple. Your body needs every single one of them. So you want to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. I like to say eat the rainbow, but that's because I have kids. That's kind of what I say. Eat the rainbow.
We get that. Try to stay away from those plans. And I'm actually, you guys are probably the same with me. I'm kind of done with, don't eat bananas. You're going to get fat off bananas. Don't eat sugary vegetables. Quite frankly, in 22 years of personal training, I've never seen a banana get anyone fat. So
you don't eat enough bananas. No, I'm kidding.
You know what I mean?
I'm with PJ.
Yeah, you want to eat real foods. Stay away from the 100-calorie snack packs.
The only nutritional advice you should listen to is ours. No, I'm kidding. The only I'm kidding. The only sound nutritional advice really is one that doesn't go too much into one food group, or one that says, hey, eat healthy foods, not processed foods. That's what you want. That's what you want. That's when it's sound nutritional advice. Like what we're saying now. Eat all your nutrients. They are needed for normal hormone production and function, so there is actually a reason why that's important. But how do you do it then? Like, where do you even start with trying to find a balance in eating all of these nutrients? Well, you make a plan. A meal plan, that is. You want to make sure that you plan out your meals. This is a weekly ritual for us and all of our clients that we just don't let people skip out on, because failing to plan is planning to fail. So if you're wanting to set yourself up for managing the symptoms of menopause and really making your midlife your best life, you need to have a plan in how you can accomplish that. So grab a calendar, write out your meals for the week so that you can make sure that you've got healthy options there. That's what you have to do.
You have to make healthy food fast food. So, and the only way to do that, because creating or making recipes, it does take time. So it's hard during the week to do that. So to do that, you get yourself set up on Sunday, or whatever your form of Sunday is. If you have Sunday, Monday off, maybe it's Monday for you, and get yourself ready and prepared for the week. And oh my goodness, it is amazing. You get used to spending those. Like I literally spend 2 to 3 hours once a week prepping myself, and that's only because I live with a significant other who I love dearly, but we do not share the same taste buds. So I prep everything I eat for the week, and then I make his through the week.
You know what? I serve a family of 7, and I do all the prep every Sunday. Prep takes me about 2-3 hours.
Yeah, you should see her family though. They eat a lot.
It's more like cooking for 20, but the point being that once you make it a habit, it changes your life. Really, it's worth it. So,
you know what, you guys, what we're gonna do is actually, I just sort of this off the cuff. We'll send you our weekly meal planner. So I think we've got your email address. Actually, I know we have your email addresses.
Do we? Yes, we do.
We'll send you our weekly meal planner to help you start that. That's how passionate we believe in creating that weekly plan to get yourself set up. So we'll send that by the end of the week, as well as the replay link to this.
Because we love you.
Yeah.
So let's go to concern number 2, which is hot flashes. Now, again, I know not everybody deals with hot flashes, but if you do...
I think I'm having one right now. It's really warm in here.
Take it off, PJ. Take it off. She's got layers, guys. It's okay. We're okay over here. So why are you so hot? Well...
So damn hot. Notice she didn't say damn. She won't swear, so I always try to sneak in the words to see if she will.
You could see me rolling my eyes at her right now. If I had a mute button for PJ, I would have used it.
So would a lot of others.
Do you know who made this slide, this particular slide?
Yeah, she wouldn't even type that word.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've lost my train of thought. You threw me. Maybe
Sorry.
A hot flash. Okay. So hot flashes, what are they? Well, it's simply your body's response to drastic hormonal changes. But you know, if you take medications or depending on your lifestyle or genetics, that can also cause hot flashes as well. Lower estrogen, of course, affects it, but it's because it actually has a direct effect on the hypothalamus. So this is the part of your brain that's responsible for controlling your body temperature. This is a good piece of information here. Lower estrogen has a direct effect on the hypothalamus, the part of your brain that's responsible for controlling your body temperature. But it continues. That part of your brain also controls your appetite, sex drive, and sleep cycles. Do you notice I said that?
You said sex. I'm proud of you. She's growing.
Oh, okay.
She won't say it again.
I'm not going to repeat that one for you guys. You think I was
For those
married.
of you that don't know the backstory, Reese grew up in a very religious household.
I still am.
You still are, yes, sorry. And I did not. So
Yin and yang.
we marry our faiths quite well.
I don't know how we ever make this work. Oh boy. Okay. So with that being said, how can you help control it? Well, there are a lot of benefits to a pescatarian lifestyle.
And that's not a new font on Word either.
Oh shoot, I gotta start again.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be quiet.
So pescatarian lifestyle, what that is avoiding red meats and poultry, but fish is okay, and of course anything vegetarian on top of that is absolutely fine. It's gonna sound scary, but it really is not. There is a reason, there's a rhyme and a reason for this, so we do encourage this kind of a diet because dairy and meat, they've actually been shown to increase the symptoms of menopause and the loss of calcium from the bones. A lot of people don't believe me with this one, so let me explain to you why dairy and meat do not give you the calcium that everybody tells you it does. Animal proteins, which of course are going to be in the meat, but it's also going to be in the dairy, they put calcium into your body. When you eat it, you will get calcium. However, the animal protein itself actually draws calcium out of your bones. So you are consuming calcium, but more calcium than you've consumed is being drawn out of your bones and excreted in your urine. It's gone. It's out of there, flushed down the toilet. There's no hope with that. So you're better to avoid these things in order that the calcium you do have in your body you can retain. Now don't be scared. There are other ways to get calcium besides meat, like dark leafy green vegetables.
Hey, I just had a question.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, actually, I think we should address it right now. Debbie says she's heard about avoiding red meat, but poultry as well.
Yep, it's all the same. It's animal protein. A fish is not an animal. So, yeah, it's the poultry falls right in lines with the red meat as well. I know it's shocking for a lot of people, but it's a really, these are one of those things that frustrate me, that more people aren't making sure people know, because there's all this concern about getting enough calcium in kids and then getting enough calcium at this stage in your life, but nobody's telling you that that's not the way to do it, because the meat markets, they own the marketing, right? They got the money to pay for it. So eat your dark leafy green vegetables. That'll help a ton to get calcium, but you also want to support that. You want to marry it well. So vitamin K or vitamin D are going to help with the absorption of calcium. So if you're going to eat calcium, you want to make sure you can optimize absorption and get as much as possible. I know you can get a lot through eating meat, but because it draws it out, it's not helpful. You don't get as much in your dark leafy green vegetables as you would in a serving of meat. But if you pair it with vitamin K, which is naturally in your dark green leafy vegetables, or you pair it with vitamin D, you're going to absorb way more than you would with the meat. Okay?
Hallelujah.
Write that one down.
But
That's your takeaway.
Oh, keep going.
Sorry.
What if you're B12 deficient?
Ooh, we'll get into supplements in a little bit. Is it okay if I hold off on that one?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
We'll address that, Mary.
Yep.
And if we forget, because sometimes we do that, remind us when we get to the supplements.
Sorry. Okay, so how do you reduce hot flashes? Well, there are certain foods that you can avoid to help reduce hot flashes. If you don't struggle with hot flashes, awesome, no big deal. If you just struggle a little bit, you can choose. If you struggle a lot, you can also choose if you want to avoid these foods. Remember, you're the one that is dealing with the symptoms, so you choose how much you want to deal with it. So I will tell you the foods you could avoid, and you can choose if you want to do it. So you want to reduce, because I'm not being bossy tonight. You're lucky. You're getting off the hook right now. Usually I'm a lot bossier than that.
You're trying to make an impression, that's why. Just wait till you get to know her.
I'm just as awesome. Okay, so reduce your spicy foods, dairy and meats, which we've already talked about anyways, sugar and processed foods, just get rid of them anyways, and hot foods like soups, as well as caffeine and alcohol. Don't be scared. It's okay. There are lots of other foods you could eat. And again, it's not that you have to avoid these entirely or for the rest of your life. You can enjoy them in moderation if you're really struggling with hot flashes, and just have them every now and again.
We had somebody in the chat line who said that she found that red wine triggered her hot flashes, but white wine doesn't. So it's all really specific to you as well, and it's how much is bothering you. So if you do love beef and you want a hot flash, then have beef, and just know that
And I just need to point out that this talk of no caffeine is crazy talk.
We agree, but if you struggle with hot flashes...
It's like a voice just all of a sudden appeared in our computer.
Yes.
Yes. Pick and choose. I'm with Steve, actually. I would never give up caffeine. And Reese would never give up wine. So,
never. I would way rather have a hot flash, to be honest.
So I think we need to find what is manageable and what is still going to be healthy for us and still allow us to be healthy.
Yeah, and really, I mean, the sugar and the processed foods, I say avoid anyways, because there's no benefit to you. But the other things, I mean, really, there's a benefit to the people around us when we have caffeine and red wine. I'm just saying. So make sure that you find the balance for yourself. I should have done a disclaimer at the beginning to make sure you guys understand I have to give you generalized information right now because I'm not talking one-on-one with you. I would rather talk one-on-one with you, but I can't. So it's got to be generalized. So you have to take this information and find what works for you. And everybody is different, everyone. Now, this information still applies. It's just how you need to apply it to you is going to be different. So let's move on to concern number 3. This one I honestly do get asked a lot about the dry skin, hair, and nails. Well, estrogen. Estrogen, again, that name is going to keep coming up tonight. It helps to produce collagen. This is life's natural elastic for our skin, right? So estrogen helps produce collagen, but it also helps to produce oils that keep our skin naturally moisturized. So, of course, as it declines, our skin is going to become drier. Once we hit peri or menopause, that's when that's going to happen. And we don't retain as much moisture after that either, which really sucks, hey? Lucky us. We get all the good stuff on this end, don't we?
Actually, I want to do a column. I'm going to do a future blog on all the different products I've tried. for skin and hair. I'm not a real big nail person, but I'm a cosmetic junkie and I find, and I don't know if you're a cosmetic junkie as well, as I get older, my cosmetics are getting way more expensive. And I've tried out some really good ones, and I've tried out some ones that you think are good because you're paying the $150 price tag, and they're duds. So I want to do something on that. So stay tuned for that.
We do. I don't know if PJ is able to link it in the chat. It might be too hard. We might have to throw it in the email with the meal prep guide.
I threw it in the email.
But we did a blog.
Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. We did a blog recently on the 5 foods you can eat to help with dry skin, hair, and nails. Not to help make them more dry, to help moisturize. There is a wrong way and a right way to say that. So we'll link to that so you can read that blog as well, or you can go to gofitgalsblog.com to read more about that.
And while you're there, subscribe. Just saying.
Leave it to PJ. Okay, so hydration. Hydration is so important, and I see so many people in life just not drinking enough. But
water.
I need to learn to clarify better. My communication skills are lacking. I have all boys. Okay, so drinking water. It is very important. Also make a note of that. In fact, we have our water bottles here with us, and I hope you're drinking a big glass of water right now. If you're not, turn the volume up so you can still hear me and go get a big glass of water. Drinking water, it's honestly the easiest and healthiest way that you can stay hydrated. And that's what's going to help your skin and your hair and your nails stay moisturized. Proper hydration also helps to keep the body vital and young, and the internal processes all working as best as they can. So how much water should you drink? I know they say 8 glasses of water a day. I'm not going to get into why I hate that statement, but I will tell you to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. So what does that mean? If you weigh 140 pounds, you want to drink 70 ounces of water a day. Just sip it all through the day, have a water bottle. Some people will take elastics and put it around their water bottle. So if they need to get 3 of their water bottles in a day, they'll put 3 elastics and they'll move it to the top of the water bottle as they finish to help them keep track. There are some fun ways you can keep track. We can come banging at your door, checking up, right?
Yeah, especially if you live in a sunny location.
And you'll fly us out, we're there. Yes. If you struggle with sleep, if you do, make sure you consume your water earlier in the day. Try and be done by 3 so nature doesn't wake you up with a nice call in the middle of the night. Just a little note about dry skin, hair, and nails as well. Coconut oil. I know PJ said she would do a blog on this, but coconut oil is fantastic if you're dealing with that in your hair, on your nails, as a moisturizer on your skin. You'll get a little greasy, so maybe have a shower relatively quickly after.
Bed. Your husband gives you a kiss and he just slides right off.
That would be so funny. But yes, anyways, just a little note on that. So you should also focus, well, here I was even getting into the EFAs there, but you want to focus a diet high in the EFAs and the B complex vitamins.
Break down what EFA is, just in case.
Oh, it's like you knew what I was going to say next. Am I that predictable? EFAs, they are essential fatty acids. So this is what's in your salmon, your fatty fish, in your olive oils, in your avocados, in your nuts and seeds, stuff like that. So these are your EFAs. They're essential. Your body doesn't make all of them, and so it's important that we get them from food sources. So both of these, EFAs and B complex vitamins, help to optimize estrogen levels. When it comes to EFAs, it helps to increase the calcium absorption. So keep in mind, osteoporosis is a very common problem in menopausal women. So you need to increase your calcium, as we talked about, dark leafy green vegetables, but also EFAs. They also help with the production of estrogen, and they can help to reduce hot flashes. Ding, ding, ding. If you struggle with hot flashes, mental note, EFAs can help. So your public service announcement. Healthy fats help to increase your body's natural oil barrier, like I was just talking about the coconut oil. And some of the sources, like I mentioned before, you've got nuts and seeds, your fatty fish like salmon, avocado, oils. Just make sure they're good oils, the high quality, cold pressed, extra virgin, in a dark bottle, that sort of thing.
I think we have a blog on buying.
I think we've got a few blogs
oils, yeah.
on oils. That's another thing that I get angry with the marketing community for. Buy proper oil. We'll help you through it. And flaxseed is also a great source of your EFAs. But the neat thing about flax seeds is they contain phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are plant-based estrogen lookalikes. So it's not estrogen that your body produces. It comes from a plant, but it acts like the same estrogen your body produces in your body. So it's a way that you can kind of trick your body into thinking you have estrogen to help your body function as it would with estrogen in it. When it comes to your B complex vitamins, well, they help your ovaries to actually stimulate some estrogen or more estrogen. Some sources of your B complex vitamins are going to be dairy products, eggs, fish, legumes, leafy greens, leafy greens, wheat germ, and fruits. I hope some people have notepads for this because, sorry, it's a lot of information.
Well, we'll send them the link, and then in a couple of weeks we'll drop by for the exam. So you need an 80% or higher to pass.
Right, right. And then you get a high five from us if you pass.
Yeah.
If not, PJ will make you do 100 burpees. No, I'm just kidding. So concern number 4 is disease prevention. If you haven't thought about this yet, I urge you to sit up and pay extra attention because this is a big deal. A diet high in antioxidants can help to fight off oxidants, which is a major cause of degenerative diseases. So degenerative diseases such as cancer, these are often caused by oxidants in our body. Oxidants can come in a number of ways. It can be environmental toxins. It can be stuff that we're using on our skin, products. It can be from the foods that we eat. It can be from stress. That's oxidants. That releases oxidants as well. When our cells die, there's oxidants in our body. So our body's constantly fighting off the oxidants, which I call the bad guys. They're the bad guys. And you need to increase your antioxidants in order that they can fight off these bad guys. So you want to increase your antioxidants. The good news is antioxidants are one of the best things to increase because you're going to find it in your berries, your beans, your prunes, and your apples. And don't knock me for prunes. It really is a great, I know, me too, I love prunes. It's a great gift that I'm giving you, telling you to eat more prunes. Exactly.
Just what they were waking up this morning and wishing for.
All I want is
our
a bowl of prunes. I really do love them, though. You also need to increase your calcium, of course. I know all of you guys know this. Again, we talked about osteoporosis. This is a big deal. And if you haven't thought about your personal risks, I'm going to urge you right now to think long and hard about the possible risks for you with osteoporosis because there's a lot that has to do with fitness as well, your body that way as well as nutritionally that can decrease and increase your potential for osteoporosis. So increase your calcium. Like I said, you can get it through your dark leafy greens. You can get it through supplements, which we'll talk about next, actually. But make sure you pair it, like I said a million times, with vitamin K and vitamin D. I just created a new vitamin.
You did.
I am a scientist.
I want vitamin W wine.
Oh, good one. Yeah. Do you know there's actually a vitamin L? Love.
Oh.
Not joking.
Gagging.
No, I'm not joking. I had to study it in school. I got tested on it. I know. The things I've learned. I'm so scientific. Balance. Balance. That is when that can be so hard to find in life in general, but you need to find balance in all areas of your life. We're talking stress management, sleep, fun, adventure, work, fitness, and within your foods. Little weird, odd side note I'm going to make. If you eat grains, great, pick whole grains. However, at this time in your life, you don't need as many carbohydrates because your body's not using as much energy because your system is slowing down. So you want to decrease the amount that you have, and you're really better to eat them earlier in the day to give your body a chance to digest them before you go to sleep, because once you go to sleep, whatever hasn't been digested completely gets stored in your body as fat. And raw foods, they can also help to stabilize your blood sugar levels. Another random side note, but important tidbit. So let's talk about supplements. I will do a disclaimer on supplements. Supplements are completely individual. I am not telling you what to take. I will not diagnose through the chat room and tell you what to take, tell you quantities. This is a very individual thing, and it's very important that you get properly assessed to find out what you need. Most people, they're going to use supplements to make up for an unhealthy lifestyle, but that's actually not the purpose of a supplement. The purpose is to supplement a healthy lifestyle. So as we age, we sometimes need supplements to make up for the things that our body's just not being as productive at naturally producing or using efficiently. But for everybody, it's not necessary. So keep that in mind. Don't assume that you need them. You can supplement with a lot of different things if you do need it. And again, like I said, make sure that you get properly checked out. Go see your naturopath, nutritionist, doctor, and find out what you're lacking and what you need, so that you can properly help your body really be efficient at what it's doing. So you can supplement with herbs to help manage the symptoms of menopause. Some examples I'll throw would be black cohosh. It can help with hot flashes. Flaxseed, like we talked about, it can help with hot flashes as well as night sweats. Ginseng can help to boost your moods. And St. John's wort, I think everybody knows, can help with mood swings. It really is a great one. You can use vitamins and minerals. You can supplement with those as well. So again, some prime examples, calcium is one of the biggest ones for bone health, vitamin D and K to help with the absorption of calcium. B12. B12, I know we had a question about, and I'll talk about that now. B12 is really a great supplement if you are lacking it because it helps cognitively. It helps with your memory. Now, when you're not eating meat, that is where you get your B12. So you do need supplementation for B12. One way you can get that, my favorite way, is through nutritional yeast. When you buy it, just make sure you buy it fortified with B12. You can get it that way, or of course by getting a supplement. But if you are going to follow a vegan, vegetarian, or pescatarian lifestyle, you do want to consider supplementation. Again, I'm not going to tell you to do it, and I'm not going to tell you how much. You would want to get properly assessed personally one-on-one with your nutritionist or naturopath on that one. And fish oil, or EFAs, I know we've talked about that one. It's such a fantastic one to take in general. I think most people really should if you're going to take a supplement, but it's great for joint lubrication and an oil barrier to help with your dry skin, hair, and nails. But why or when should you supplement? Well, if it's due to menopause and aging and you're deficient in something, that's a great time. Or for medical purposes. For instance, if you are deficient in something like B12, then you would definitely want to supplement. Only supplement what you need, though, nothing else. So if you're taking a multivitamin, I would say chuck it, please, because...
Really?
Well, it's one size fits all.
Okay.
Like a multivitamin doesn't actually give you what your body's needing. Why is that? Well, if you're deficient in something, if you can become deficient in something, you also need to be able, or you can also become toxic in something. So just think of the spectrum. If you take a multivitamin and you're not deficient in one of the vitamins, you can become toxic in the vitamin. And becoming toxic can lead to a whole slew of problems within your body as well as creating diseases because your body spends all its time trying to deal with this instead of moving forward. So remember, it's all about balance like we've talked about. So I'll just briefly, before we kind of close here, how do you choose a supplement? Well, supplements are one of the biggest industries. So don't be fooled by great marketing, a really cool looking bottle, big claim on the bottle. Don't be fooled by any of that. You need to do your research first. Make sure you research the supplement that you've been told you need to take to find out how much you should be taking, how it should be stored. Research the brand to find out what it is, and if you can, avoid buying it at a grocery store because they're not typically the better brands and they're not typically stored properly. Most of them need to be stored in a dark, cool, dry place, and things like your probiotics and your EFAs, your fish oils and stuff, should be in dark bottles and refrigerated. How many of them are on the store shelves? It kind of turns my stomach. And pay the price. Please do not buy the cheapest thing. And do not buy the best deal. Find the brands that you know are good and reputable and stick with them and pay money. Because if you're paying money out, even if it's cheap and you're paying money out and the vitamin or mineral is no good, you're wasting your money anyway, so you may as well pay the money for it. Some of the brands that we love are Udo's, Nature's Way, and Now. Those are some of the better brands. So in closing, I hope you learned something beneficial. I hope we gave you something worth it to spend your evening with us. we really are grateful that you did, and I'm going to pass it back to Steve here for a moment. Steve?
Okay, yes, it just I had to turn things back on because I was just trying to figure out if nutritional yeast tastes like Parmesan cheese as well.
It does.
Really?
Yep.
You lie. I just don't believe you.
I don't lie.
She doesn't. I do.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Fair enough. Fair enough. Awesome overview, and it generated so much comment in the chat room. So thanks, Reese. I appreciate that so much. I'm just going to scroll back now, folks. If you have any questions, I should just say ladies, because there's no men out there listening. Ladies, if you have any other questions, put them in the chat room right now. But the first one we're going to go to is one that asking about flaxseed. There was several questions. Flaxseed generated a lot of interest. First question is milled and ground the same?
You want whole flax seeds? Because
Damn! I just bought some today, and I was looking. I was going to milled or whole, and I bought the milled. Okay, go ahead.
If you bought the milled, I'll just pipe in and say make sure you keep it in a dark place and in the fridge, away from light. And
that's where I keep Larry.
So wrong. Just so wrong.
Moving on, you do want to buy it whole because it becomes rancid so quickly with light, heat. Yeah. It's very, very sensitive, and so as soon as the oil gets any of that, it goes bad, and then it's not really useful.
Does it chop up well in a blender?
Coffee grinder.
Yeah, we use a coffee grinder.
Okay.
Yeah, blender not so much. And really,
not even my awesome Vitamix.
You could try it. Let us know.
Please, let us know. I don't have a Vitamix.
No.
Lend me words. I'll let you know.
But so before we leave that, another person asked, and I shudder to do this question, but I'm going to just show how I am so.
I think we know the one.
With the topic. Yeah. Does it? They heard it affects swollen breasts. Does it?
We
are they still okay?
know that question, and I've written it down. And I think it was. Do you know that one?
I've never actually heard of that being the case. It doesn't mean it's not the case. Like I said, I don't claim to know it all, but that is actually one I've never heard of and never been asked about. So I can research that. What I would ask that you do, I'm not sure who asked the question, but if you can email.
It was Claire.
Claire, if you can email info@gofitgals.com, I will look into that.
It was actually Jackie.
Jackie?
Oh, sorry, Jackie. Sorry, Claire.
Ladies, PJ Reese, stop screen sharing so we can see your lovely faces.
Oh, no, we got to go to the next slide.
Oh, okay, fine. I got another.
We're just going to finish off here then.
Okay, you finish off, and then because we got lots of questions that I want to come to. So finish off, and then I'll come back.
Deal. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for taking some time. Stick with us, though, because we are going to answer the remainder of your questions. But we wanted to announce to you this new community we're building. And it's on Patreon. You see the website there. And it's basically a pay-what-you-want membership community for women and women in their mid-years. It's all about love, menopause, squats, and kale. So we'd love for you to drop by and take a look at the community and join us there. Now, Steve, back to you.
Okay, I'm back. Yes. So now what you want to do is you want to stop that screen sharing happening so that we can see you and we don't have the tunnel vision happening. But that's great. Sorry?
I'm trying there.
No,
okay.
Well done. Good job. This is their first webinar, folks. The first one that they've delivered, and I think you guys did an awesome job so far. You still have time to screw up, but up to this point here, you've done an awesome job. You must have a really good coach.
The best.
Okay, so I've made some notes of some of the questions that have been there. Now, if I miss your question, I apologize because PJ's been doing a pretty good job of going in the chat. But stay in the chat room and post more questions or comments or follow-up questions. There was a lot of discussion about coconut oil in this whole thing, including some crazy people who are putting coconut oil in their coffee. I don't know about that. It sounds interesting, but talk to me.
Coffee?
And see, it seems they use coconut oil rubbing on their body and putting in their coffee. So it just seems to me too multi-purpose. But you tell me about coconut oil.
Coconut oil is about the most multi-purpose you can get. However, you can definitely have too much of a good thing. Your body is meant to have balance, so all healthy foods can become unhealthy if overconsumed. So I know especially the bulletproof coffee is super popular, having your coconut oil and ghee or butter all mixed into this lovely concoction every morning.
Sorry, I just.
But no,
yeah.
I mean, sure, you want to have coconut oil in your coffee. I actually do that sometimes. I'll put a spoonful in. I love the hint of flavor, but I wouldn't
on
do that
a daily
every day.
basis. No, because gram for gram too, you're looking at 9 calories per gram in fat. So you're looking at a higher caloric intake. Yeah,
you do have to think about that. And then if you have other fats throughout the day, it can add up really quickly when it comes to fats. And it's good. It's super good for you and can be used, for an amazing.
Oh my goodness! Hold on, Crystal. She came in from Atlantic Canada. It's after midnight. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We promise we'll have the next one earlier. So you're only up till 11.
Yeah, no, it won't be. Yeah, you probably won't be that much earlier. And I want to apologize to Kelly. I didn't mean you were crazy. I said it with the most affectionate terms possible.
He means it, Kelly.
I am so. The one food stuff. You'd think that with my comments about bacon, that bacon is my food of choice. But really, my one absolute vice is coffee. Shannon and I have Americanos every morning. I've got this kick-ass coffee machine, and I'm a purist. It's just like a little bit of cream, the coffee in Americanos, and I just have it very straight and simple. But I understand people, blaspheming their coffee and putting other things in it.
I'm black, so BJ.
Now, there's additional questions, so let's go back into things that are actually useful for people. And talk to us a little bit about the nutritional yeast story, because a lot of people have been asking questions about nutritional yeast, and PJ apparently says it's really good in kale Caesar salad. I thought she was talking about bacon again, but apparently not.
I ignored that comment.
I'm sorry, yes. What? Did you say the B word? No, we don't say that word here. Nutritional yeast. I love nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is awesome. It's not exactly like Parmesan cheese. It's kind of a Parmesan cheese with a little bit of a nuttier flavor, but it's an inactive yeast. So if you struggle with a yeast infection or anything, not going to affect you. You're just fine. It's inactive, but if you get it fortified with B12, it's like a rock star food. So we like to use it as, it's kind of, it's got that cheesy flavor. So we like to sprinkle it on popcorn. If we make that, we love to use it. That's what we use in our Caesar dressing when we make it. And our Caesar dressing
it's in some of our recipes in the plan. And Reese actually introduced it to me. Yeah. And if you live locally, it's in the bulk section in little containers at Thrifty Foods. And if you live outside of the Tsawwassen area, you can also buy it in Bragg's is a brand that we love, Bragg's, and they carry a large bottle of it.
Yeah. You can use it on your pizza too instead of cheese.
Yes.
I haven't made a lot of people turn to that, but that's what I do.
Clarice is asking about flaxseed capsules because apparently is that a good idea, or should she be looking at just incorporating it in some other meals?
Flaxseed, I mean, everything is better in its whole form, really.
But you still need to grind it, though, for the seeds to process through the intestines, right?
But if it's you were talking about supplement form, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if
it just says flaxseed capsules. Yeah, Clarice, if you have something more specific, maybe you can type it into the chat, and we can be more specific. Go ahead, Reese.
If it's in a capsule, it would already be pre-ground. Now, again, it's such a sensitive one that you'd have to make sure you're buying a good quality. But because flaxseed is so simple to incorporate into your diet, I'd say don't bother doing a capsule for that. Spend your money on a capsule like an EFA capsule or fish oil, something that's harder to get for most people.
Yes, because flax seeds themselves, they're cheap. They're cheap like dirt,
and you can throw it in everything. Yeah. You can throw it in smoothies,
and you get the added fiber, right?
Yes,
when
that's
you're doing it.
Yeah.
Mary asks a great question. For those of us with a sweet tooth, we don't know anybody like that. What's a great snack to address the craving?
Well, a big one are frozen fruits. Frozen grapes are fantastic because they taste like candy, but frozen fruits are really helpful. Or if you've never had banana ice cream is awesome. Just pre-cut a banana and freeze it, and once it's nice and frozen, then you're going to put it in a food processor or a blender, and you can even add in, like I like to add in peanut butter because I like peanut butter and banana, and you can mix that together. Or honey, like a raw honey, is a great sweetener, and sometimes just a little tiny spoonful. So I'm talking like maybe half a teaspoon to a quarter teaspoon. Just a little bit of a taste can help as well.
I have quite the sweet tooth, and I use a supplement, glutamine, and that actually does help with sugar cravings. And it's just a powdered form that you just can stick in any beverage and shake it up. So I actually have that with my BCAAs after I work out, branched chain amino acids. So that's just taking it a step further.
Explain to this. So what you're doing is you're killing the craving. You're not satisfying it through sating your urges. You're taking something that makes it so you don't want it as badly?
Yes. I find that with eating clean, I tend to have fewer cravings. But, and sorry, Steve, you won't respect this, but as I get closer to my period, the cravings get stronger, and that's where the glutamine does help calm them.
Keep in mind, though...
You do me a disservice. Why would I not respect that?
Because you don't have periods.
He's done videos on all the apps with periods.
That doesn't mean that he's had a period. Well, you can download an app, brother, but you haven't been affected.
It's true. It's true. I haven't had a period yet.
Good to know, Steve. Good to know. I am gonna say though, watch.
Reese is moving this along.
Yeah, I'm gonna just slide on past all that. Even with glutamine, though, you can overconsume, so make sure that you're cautious how much you're having and that you know that you actually need it. There is nothing wrong with satisfying a craving the right way, and one way to actually prevent cravings that we talk about a lot is to eat regularly. You need to keep your blood sugar levels up because when they drop, that's when we get a lot of cravings. So you want to eat every 2 to 3 hours and make sure that you're keeping those up. And of course, as I mentioned before, raw foods also help to stabilize your blood sugar. But don't be afraid to satisfy it with something small, but it's a matter of what you satisfy with it and the quantity that you satisfy it with. Don't go over to DQ and get yourself, I don't know what sizes they have. Benties, right?
Blizzard's good.
Okay. Benties, I don't know what they are. But
Sandra,
don't go and get that. And then a Dairy Queen?
I did. I actually went the other day to buy a cake for my sister. She wanted an ice cream cake. Oh. And I went in. Yeah.
You said sex and you bought an ice cream cake all in 1 week. What a week for
I'm so ashamed.
Sandra asks, she came in a little bit late and she apologizes, but I think it's worth revisiting. Is there a food to eat or avoid to get rid of night sweats?
I think that's individualized. You need to,
Yeah, it's very individualized. However, flaxseed. Flaxseed can help with night sweats.
And a lot of the women have been commenting on some foods that they've discovered cause them. Things like having red wine and some of those other things are causing them, or in caffeine, they're moving to different types of teas and stuff like that because of for their drinks and for their social drinking. I guess a tea is social drinking, isn't it? But the red wine and caffeine are causing it. So it's personalized. You're going to have to kind of work through it, but you'll know because you'll sweat.
Okay, I'm just going to pipe in here. One thing that thank you, Steve. One thing that comes with eating healthy is you start paying attention to what you're putting into your body, which then helps you pay attention to how you feel. So by eating healthy, you're going to be more aware of what foods affect you how, whether they're helpful or detrimental to menopause. So that's just kind of like...
I would almost do a food elimination. Start with what you normally eat a lot of, and then take one aspect out.
Actually, a food elimination means you eliminate everything that could cause it and slowly add something in.
Oh, that's not as much fun.
Not for her. I'm all over things like that, but she's like not happy.
I bet you have a sense, though. I bet if you stop and really think about it, you have a sense just from experience of what's causing it. And it might not be a sense that you want to pay attention to.
A lot of it, yeah, true. It's listening to your body, but a lot of it is what Reese was discussing earlier. The caffeine, the alcohol, the red meats, all those are going to put you at a higher risk.
Yeah. If you want to do an elimination, that would be the list you'd want to eliminate, and then slowly add one thing in every week, starting with.
Helen asks I think, an interesting question. What about, and I'm not kidding, she says flavored fish oils for a sweet craving.
First, normally you take
that doesn't sound really good to me for a craving.
It's not, but I know the flavored fish oil because I just bought. They just came out with a new brand, and it's really good.
Like butterscotch? What's the flavor?
I think it's tangerine.
Oh, okay.
Something. I take my stuff in the morning though. I take all my supplements in the morning, so I really don't see how you could try that and see if it satisfies you. Personally, frozen grapes would probably be a better nighttime snack.
Claire's suggesting dark chocolate.
Yeah. There you go.
70% cocoa or more, have a little piece. Have one square. That's the good thing about the heavy density cocoa chocolates is you can't really have much more than one square. Okay. But hey, I'm the kind of girl that during my period I get my one little square of dark chocolate. I'm okay with that.
You go, girl.
Keep in mind, if you're buying something flavored, kind of like buying something colored, just make sure you read it first and know what it's being flavored with. If it's being flavored naturally, awesome. Not if
This
it says
tastes
natural.
really good, so I know it's
I
not
know.
flavored
PJ and I-
naturally.
PJ and I are very different this way. If it says natural flavoring, don't do it.
Okay. Crystal is suggesting a nice fat majuli date or a majule date as for sweets.
Do it.
Is that, did I pronounce that right? Majule?
Jewel, yeah, that's a great. I don't even know why I didn't think to say that. That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Bad nutritionist.
Ow.
Bad.
Ow. No. Yes.
No
that's
hitting,
perfect.
PJ. Seriously, no hitting.
I know. It's with the violence, right?
Oh.
What I love to do is actually take the pit out, turn it inside out, and roll it in unsweetened coconut. That's like dessert for my kids. That's what we do at their birthdays usually.
Nice.
Cake. Their cake is at our lair bar. I'm kind of mean that way.
Okay, next up. Marty's asking if there's a really good nighttime snack, or better, she tends to be a bit hungry when she goes to bed.
You know what? That's awesome. If you're hungry when you go to bed, that's actually a good thing. I will tell you that. I know it's hard to go to bed hungry. One way to kind of kick the hunger pains is to actually drink tea in the evening, but we also don't want you having to wake up through the night if you do struggle with sleep. We want you sleeping when you can. So we usually don't advise that you eat past 8 p.m. However, if you do need something, a few berries is always a great option, or even just a very small, like a quarter cup of yogurt. That's a great option as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Roberta. I see some of the people are leaving us now, so we are over an hour. So if you are leaving right now and you're worried that you're going to miss anything, we'll be wrapping things up fairly soon, I imagine. But all of this will be in the replay. So if you check the replay, just fast forward towards the end.
It's also good. It's going to be our first podcast. We're launching a podcast channel next month.
Yep. Woohoo!
We have no idea how, but we're going to launch
But
one.
that's the plan.
I know somebody that can help you with that. Okay.
Oh.
So Claire's also asking, what about GERD? I get from eating kale salad that have acidic dressing. What about GERD? I don't know what she means, GERD.
You can avoid it. Avoid the things, if you have anything that causes any symptom or any discomfort or anything, just avoid it.
I'm going to ask you one last question to wrap things up, because what about this fad or this I shouldn't say fad, but this movement towards alkaline versus our acidic systems, and these alkaline water systems where you add alkaline to your water to bring your pH to lower your pH, right? Yeah, to lower your pH and to make your body more alkaline. Can you talk to that a bit?
Yeah, I know it's becoming quite popular, but it's actually really important, and that's part of the Eat Clean movement, and part of eating clean also does that for your body. And so we actually love Santivia water, that brand. So it's kind of like a Brita, but it makes your water more alkaline. That's what we use, and we do really believe in the alkaline diet. However, we're not as strict, because we're trying to find balance in everything, but we do work hard to make it more alkaline. That's very important.
Just a tip, one easy thing you can do to help create a more alkaline body is to have lemon in your water in the morning. You think that lemon is acidic, but it's not. It's actually an alkalining source to the body.
And we had a suggestion earlier on. One of the people said that she takes about a half a dozen lemons on a Sunday night. She juices them, freezes them, and then pops the ice cubes in her water in the morning as a way to start it with lemon water.
I missed that.
That's a perfect tip.
Brilliant.
Love that. I've never done it myself. I'm going to now.
That's brilliant.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat. So scroll back and read.
I see a lot for the chat about insomnia, and that's that. I've been to UBC Sleep Clinic, and I have a number of blogs which we'll link up on things that I have learned through people a heck of a lot smarter than me on insomnia, and some tricks of the trade that have helped that I learned at the sleep clinic. So I'll send links to those blogs so you can read them.
And as the only guy here, I have a suggestion of something that could help. I'm just saying.
No, don't say it.
What, Steve?
Look at Reese. She's so afraid I'm going to say it. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap things. I'm going to wrap things
up here. Tell them, though, we got another webinar coming up.
Okay, tell them about the webinar.
We would love for you to join us when we talk menopause and fitness and how to make your body become the most efficient fat-burning machine it can be. So we'll send email to remind you about it, but maybe save the date right now. We're talking February 17th. That's a Tuesday again, at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we would love to see you join us there.
So, folks, you've joined us now for the first of a series of these webinars, soon-to-be podcasts, that PJ and Reese are going to be presenting to your community to help women going through this time of their lives and find natural ways to deal with it. And they're not just going to deal with nutrition and exercise. They'll be talking a little about psychology, talking about happiness, talking about lots of different ways of dealing with this time of life. Right, girls?
That's
Ladies?
right. We're going to bring experts on in a variety of different fields.
So we thank you. I got to congratulate you two. You did a great job, bang up job. I'll debrief with you a little bit later and talk to you about it, and I'll make sure we do that. And to everybody that stayed with us, we had everybody stayed for almost the entire webinar. So I hope you found tremendous value in it. I know the ladies worked very hard on the content, and I found it interesting and fascinating, and it hardly squirmed at all, which is quite awesome. So with that, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Reese, for your hard work. Thank you, PJ, and don't hit Reese again tonight. It's a hit-free zone for Reese. To everybody that joined us, thanks so much for joining us. We will hopefully see you on the 17th. Until next time, have fun storming a castle.
No, eat clean, train dirty.
Okay, that's right. You use your tagline, not mine. Go ahead, do it. Eat clean, train dirty.
Train dirty. Bye, guys.
Bye.